Ciao Bella, welcome to Bella Uncinetto. I'm Christina and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. No matter how long you've been here, I always appreciate your time. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe and ring the bell for all if you love what you see. We are going to do a label by library today. This is a sequel book. So this is the second book. I have a book called Crochet Iconic Women. I've already done a book look and labeled my library on the other book. And I have done a book look on this. Excuse me. Which I will put at the end of this video. But if you are interested in this book, there are 15 patterns, amigurumi patterns in this book. And they have all the women here. They have all the women in this book on the front cover, which is really great to have. Now, I have not made anything out of this book, but I would love to. I know I've already done a book look on this, but I absolutely adore all of the frames of the people here on the front of the book. I think that's so cute to have them all pictured like that. Label My Library, if you are not aware, was something that I got from Sam over at Memphis Makes, and she goes through her pattern books and magazines and things like that and labels things that she would like to make so that the next time she pulls the book out, it is, oh, this is kind of what I was thinking that I wanted to make out of this book. Not that she necessarily makes that from that book the next time she pulls it out, or even that I would, but it's something that she can have as a reminder. And if she's like, what would I like to make, and she doesn't have it, but it's a good way to go back through your books and see what you would like to have. All right, so this one's gonna be hard. There's so many. So I'm just looking right now at the table of contents. Okay, so let's go to trying to find them all. All right, so the first one is going to be one of the first ones in the book, which is Anne Frank. Oh, that's not where I want to be. Anne Frank. I feel very strongly about all of the things that happened to many people during the Holocaust. My grandfather fought in World War II for the U.S. Army, and I've talked a couple of times about some experiences that I've had with him. He would rarely talk about it, but he did some as he got older. We did go to the World War II Memorial, the Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C., and it was really hard for him to be there. He had to leave at some point because it was all just too overwhelming for him. And my son was little at the time, so he took my son out. There was something next door that they could go do, and then they came back and they were in the lobby waiting for me. He was like, "Take as much time as you need, experience it." But he was like, I can't stay in here. So I have taught lots of things about the Holocaust. I used to teach Elie Wiesel's Night. That's part of his trilogy that he wrote about his experience in the Holocaust. I taught that as a high school English teacher. I've taught Anne Frank as well. And then here where I work now, I do Holocaust Remembrance Week. Um, and it's harder for the littles, but I do a lot about tolerance and how we treat people just because they might think differently or act differently or look differently than we do, um, and trying to, um, share that knowledge so that these things stop happening and don't happen in such a large scale. And it's kind of a downer at the beginning of the video, but it is something that I try to really honor because it was important to my grandfather, and he definitely he said that definitely affected the way that he treated people, seeing all of the hatred that was happening, um, being there because when he was there, he was a teacher. um, I don't know what his exact position was in the army, but he was teaching some sort of class. They were in Germany, and they got basically the call to stop everything and go help clean up the concentration camps as the concentration camps were being liberated and the war was coming to an end. Um, so he saw a lot of really awful things, and he said that that kind of hatred is terrible to have in your heart, in your life, even around you. So understanding people's differences was really, really big for him. So yeah, Anne Frank would be the first one that I would do. Let me see if there's another picture of her. No, just that one. Okay, so Anne Frank is there. She's very lovely in her little dress. So the second one would be Queen Elizabeth I. From the time I was really young, I had an affinity for all things Shakespeare and the Elizabethan age. Um, Again, I taught Shakespeare a lot as an English teacher, um, and I was of the mind that if you're going to teach a piece of literature, you need to teach something about the history of the time period, because a lot of literature is written in response to what's happening around them. And you lose some of that context if you don't teach the history. So why was Shakespeare always um, writing about these um, people that did these specific kinds of things, and why was there always this? Um, there's certain phrases and I mean, I don't want to go on a whole nother rampage, or not rampage. That's not the word. I'm not angry. Tangent. I don't want to go on another tangent about the Elizabethan age, but I could. Uh, but so Queen Elizabeth I, she would be another one that I would crochet. A very interesting woman, if all of the history can be believed. Um, Not always the nicest things, but um, definitely a courageous woman to be sure. So I would definitely do Queen Elizabeth. And then I, I, I think this woman is very interesting. She's not one of my choices this time around, but also during World War II, you have Miss Grace Hopper. Right? If you don't know about her, definitely go check her out. She did some amazing things in the war, um, to help people. So my last one in this book actually gives you two patterns, and again, my love of literature is shining through. We have Miss Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein, who is not actually the monster. This is not Frankenstein. Frankenstein was the doctor. This is Frankenstein's monster down here. But she is the. Mary Shelley started the science fiction genre. A lot of people like to say it was others, but she started it with Frankenstein. And I also, in another book, I had done. it was Crochet Little Heroes, Label My Library. I talked about Jane Austen and a paper that I wrote on feminism in Jane Austen. And Mary Wollstonecraft, who is Mary Shelley's mother, um, fought for women's rights in England, and I very much focused on that in my paper in Jane Austen. And Mary Shelley was also married to Percy Shelley, who was an author also, but of poetry. So he wrote, he was part of the Romantic period, along with Byron and Keats. So lots of literature there for you, lots of stories there for you. But Mary Shelley, and I think, yeah, you get both patterns. So you do get Frankenstein's monster as well as Mary Shelley there in the pattern, because it says right here you get both of them. Right? So that would be what I would make. But let me know if you recognize any of these people on here, if you would make any of them, who you would make, what order do you think that I should make these in? I mean, given my stories, right? What order do you think that I should make these iconic women in? And what order would you make them in? Would you make them at all? Let me know. Have you made anything out of this book? Do you own this book? Lots of questions. Sorry, I'm full of questions today. But yeah, so that is my Label My Library for more crochet iconic women. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the description box. Recently, I did get some criticism on a video that I did, which was fine. It was their thoughts. They weren't rude about it, but they definitely did not like the way that I did my video. And I mean, I don't hate them for it. It's all good. As long as they weren't rude about it. They were just like, you did this and I had to wait this long for what you said. And I was like, yeah, well, thanks for the feedback. I could have done something differently. Absolutely, you're right. This is the way I chose to do the video. So I'll keep that in mind for next time, because the video is already out, so I can't do anything about it. But I do appreciate the feedback, as always. So I hope that everyone is having a lovely day. And as always, be well, be safe, and be the change you wish to see in the world, everyone. Ciao bella!